Hello Warlock mains. Are you looking to spice up your builds? Well, look no further than my Ergo Sum Warlock build. To make note, or disclaimer, except it's not really a disclaimer, you do not, or this does not require an exotic class item. You have alternatives slash osmiomancy gloves that I'll describe later that work just as well as the exotic class item, just without a little bit of that functionality. My personal exotic weapon of choice is the Ergo Sum, or Sum. I say Ergo Sum. I've heard maybe it's pronounced Ergo Sum. I have no idea. But the main point that, if you saw in the thumbnail, you want a caster frame. It is the highest damage frame for Ergo Sum, especially if you get perfect fifth, and it takes less ammo than a vortex. The main perk that we're taking advantage of here is Transcendent Duelist. This weapon collects less ammo, which means literally nothing. Final blows of this weapon accelerate light and darkness mastery, which we do use, and deals increased damage while Transcendent. Defeating targets lengthens Transcendent, which that also works well with an artifact mod this season, but who cares? And if you have the exotic catalyst, Transcendent Steel, dealing damage with your Transcendent Grenade grants Ergo Sum ammo. Originally, all of us thought, most people thought, that's kind of ass. Who wants that? Well, it's really good. Especially for damage phases. And you might see that I have the perfect fifth roll. If you want to do the most damage possible and have, like, even more than heavy swords, you're going to want the perfect fifth one. However, for more generalized play, and even for boss damage, it's not going to be horrible. The Telesta one's pretty good. If you want to support your team, or more ad clear, the Gallowhorn one's pretty good. Arc Conductor can be good if you've seen the error videos, error build guide videos. So there's a lot of different options, but for general damage, or if you've seen in my solo GM content, I use this sword and this build just tweaked a little bit. As you can see in this portion of this exotic Legend Lost sector, you can see how I use my super and my Ill Omen to absolutely destroy all these enemies. And my Ill Omen, you can see, is generating a lot of darkness energy, and I'll demonstrate here how much damage the Ergo Sum with Transcendence does. Your exotic class item of choice is the Osmiomancy gloves, which might not make a lot of sense, since the exotic perk is Fervid Cold Snap. Your Cold Snap grenades have an additional charge that recharges quicker on direct impact. The Seeker spawn from your Cold Snap grenades travel further. That might not make any sense for an Arc Storm grenade. However, it has taken on the trait of the class item, and it works with any grenade. Here you'll see the power of the Osmiomancy gloves. You see I throw it there, and with just one grenade, I have it back already, even before I kill the other enemies. That's just the power of Osmio and Devour at the same time. Gives so much grenade energy. I throw it there again, and you'll see I have half of it back. And with my demo sidearm with Devour, 2 kills gave me my grenade back again. and I just can keep throwing it over and over again, giving me so much power. And then here you'll see some good, like really good damage that I get to pull off with the Ergo Sum. My general tech is light, heavy, but if I have my grenade up, I'll do grenade, light, heavy, light, heavy, grenade, light, heavy. And that, as if you saw there, that's also a good demonstration of how fast Ergo Sum can get the light meter up, because basically instantly after Transcendence ended, I got my light meter back up again. If you decide to go the class item route to boost your power just that much more, here are the roles that I would recommend. Left column, always Osmiomancy. It's just, with Arc Grenade, it's so good, as you see in the gameplay. But in the second column is where it becomes more interesting. The 4 that I recommend are Swarm, Harmony, Star Eater, and Verity. Currently, I've messed around with the Swarm, Harmony, and Star Eater variants with Osmiomancy. And by far, I'd say the weakest of those 3 is Harmony, because I just did not use my sword enough for ad clear to notice the difference. But if you use it more for ad clear, you might notice the difference. But Swarm gives you Threadlings on Tangles breaks, and we're making a decent amount of Tangles, and more Threadlings means more Darkness energy and more damage. For Harmony, gives more super energy, and the more supers you spam, the more orbs you make for your allies, and the more kills you get. And Star Eater boosts your total damage output of your super, so if you've seen in my GM solo Word of Nothing, I use Nova Bomb to one-shot the first Hydra Minotaur mini boss, and then I take out half of the Warden's health in one Nova Bomb just because of Star Eater. And then I haven't messed with the Verity one, but it seems pretty good. Just by reading it, our grenade already is strong, and getting to spam it even more seems really, really good. Except you need an arc weapon. So if you have an arc sword, I think that would work really well. Except I do not, so it wouldn't have much use to me. For our subclass, and build in general, we are going with Song of Flame, but Nova Bomb can also be used. Phoenix Dive for a faster cooldown and for quicker Hellion uptime. Burst Glide, but you can use any glide you want. But if you use Bounce Glide, I have something to say. Arcane Needle, to proc Unravel and to make Tangles. Arc Grenade, to, as you've seen, get a lot of power out of Osmiomancy. Feed the Void for Devour and to get even more grenade energy. Hellion for Scorch and Ignitions. Facet of Sacrifice, while you have a light buff, which Devour is going to be up a lot, you get more Darkness energy from ability Final Blows, which also works for Song of Flame, by the way. Facet of Balance, so our light damage gets melee, and our darkness damage gets grenade energy. So even more grenade energy out of our primary, but also our grenade gives us some melee energy, which is nice. Facet of Honor, which is very important. Our Tangles are going to give energy, darkness energy, and we get those Tangles from our Arcane Needle. And those give energy, as well as our massive explosion from our artifact mods you'll see later. Facet of Dawn for Radiant, and Facet of Dominance for Jolt and Weaken, which can get some overload stuns as well. Onto our build. Breachlight. I love Breachlight. At least just have Demolitionist on it. But you could also run Imminence, which is the raid SMG, or there is I believe Warlords are in both. That's a strand. Ergo Sum, you already talked about it. Ill Omen is my favorite so far out of testing. It gets a lot of darkness energy. Cold Steel can be used for unstoppables, and it's just, I really like it. Surrounded is also good on this too. You could also use Dragon Colt Sickle. I haven't used it. I just got one. I don't know if I'm going to try it or not, but it's there. Slammer if you want some eager edge, and Promemoria for some ad clear if you're still struggling in ad clear with this build. And finally, the Scintillation, which is the Vanguard linear fusion rifle. The Deep Explorer hood doesn't matter. We're talking about the headpiece. I get 1 strand siphon for occasional orbs, as well as double ashes to assets for super energy. We go triple firepower for just even more grenades. I mean, not grenades, even more orbs and super energy. And it synergizes with, we have charged up here, any resistances you want. We're going double solar weapon surge. If you really want to, you can either get rid of stacks on stacks or one of these and put absolution on because of how many orbs we're making. Or if you want, you can double down on absolution and have a loadout swap with surges. Same thing, you can have loadout swap with Lucent Blade as well in your chest piece. And then for our class item, we are going Powerful Attraction, Bomber, and Time Dilation for longer solar weapon surge uptime. For our artifact, we have whatever you want here. I use this for, if you've seen my GM stuff, anti-barrier pulse, but whatever. This to boost our Ill Omen. Whatever you really want else that's here. Overload Sword for overcharge and for overload. Really important. Threaded Blast. If you've seen, I've shot some Tangles and they really blow up a lot of stuff. It's really great. Almost like Warmind cells. Blade Stamina. These kind of up to you. I like these. Argent Blade for damage, and then Transference for more Transcendence and Grenade and melee damage. If you tuned in this far into the video, I thank you very much for watching the whole thing. This is all I have for the build, and with some additional gameplay, here is part of a solo breach executable run that I just decided to do. This demonstrates a lot of the different types of the build, and yeah, thanks for watching. Almost forgot that, isn't it? There is a Mobalytics guide link in the description, as well as in that Mobalytics guide there's a dim build link that you can input right into Destiny Item Manager, and that guide might have even more information that I have forgotten about. So make sure to check that out if you want to try the build.